What's up, guys, and welcome back to Footy with an Edge. Apologies here for the delay. I was just facing some OBS issues. Unfortunately, it crashed on me right before I was ready to go live. So, anyways, we're here. I know it's been 2 days. I've gotten a lot of messages from you guys that where have you been? What's been going on? I also get a ton of messages asking, "Hey, where's Andy? Where's he been?" And what's going on. So Andy's coming back on the 3rd of February. So just a couple more days before, your regularly scheduled programming resumes, and, won't have to deal with me anymore. So yeah, but until then, we've got one more game together, and that is Fulham at home, right? It'll be, I think, and we've been saying this after the Arsenal game. We said it after the Manchester City game. This will be Carrick's true test. And let's kind of dive into why I at least feel that way, and maybe we can hear from some of you folks later tonight. So the thing that's been nagging me all week is that we've been here before. So let me take you back to December 2024. Ruben Amorim had just beaten City in the derby, and everyone was buzzing. But right after that came 4 straight defeats. It was the club's worst month in 94 years, right? And it never felt like the big wins ever translated into consistent form. And it has felt this way for quite some time after, multiple managers in my mind. We've seen a lot of false dawns as United fans. So Fulham on Sunday isn't just another Premier League fixture. It's whether or not these players are still going to be Light Switch FC. It's whether or not the manager is going to get given a problem that no other manager has seemed to be able to solve with any Manchester United side for quite some time, which is how do you play against a low block? Right? It is, in my mind, the true test is that we've never, ever been completely, I'll say, evaporated by those stunning results that we've seen in the past in these big games to then see us perform absolutely poorly just the following game, especially after a real performance and after a real test. So think about it this way, right? City came at us. Arsenal came at us. Right? We exploited the space that we had on the counter, right? Those diamond connections that we were being able to see, right? Between Bruno and Bumo and Ahmad. They worked because the opposition left gaps. So Fulham won't do that. Marco Silva has got his team sitting in 7th place, only 4 points behind us. But they're well organized, they're disciplined, and they'll be more than happy to let us have the ball and make us figure it out. This is something that United sides in the past have struggled. It's something that I've seen this very team this season earlier on struggle, is breaking down this low block. And I don't want to, remind you of Everton, but that's what it was, right? We didn't seem to be able to find a way. Now, Carrick knows this too, and here's what he said in his press conference. He said, taking anything for granted is bang out of order, really. Fulham, Marco has got them into a really good team. It might be the same flow of game as the last 2 weeks. No shame in that. We'll deal with the game with what's in front of us. Right? And so he understands and he recognizes the I'll say the gravity of that situation. Now, what I love about the quote is it's Carrick expressing a bit of humility. He's not necessarily talking about having a dominating performance again. And he's not making any promises, right? He says he's going to deal with whatever is in front of us. And we've seen, right, with his coaching staff as well, that they have been well equipped in order to do that. In fact, there have been stories coming out of Steve Holland, staying up until 2 a.m., 3 a.m. or whatever, just analyzing game footage in preparation for the next game. This was after the City win, and even after Arsenal, this is what we heard as well, is that despite the boys, as in the players, having a day off on Monday, the entire coaching staff came in to be able to plan what is this week's training going to look like, what is our game plan going to be, and how are we going to try to break down that low block. And in Inside Carrington, Wes Brown put it pretty well in my mind. So he said that these are the games that now where we have to start picking up the 3 points. It's not necessarily City or Arsenal, right? Where we know this is going to be a battle, and these will be tough games for us to at least showcase ourselves. But we also recognize that they were games where we could exploit their greatest weakness and our greatest strength, which was being able to attack in those open spaces and being able to smartly press, the opposition defenders. The Fulham and West Ham and even Tottenham, these are the games where we really need to start thinking about how can we not drop points? How can we gain and continue to, push this momentum that we've got going on? But if we're talking about how Carrick maybe potentially wants to play out from the back, there's one player in my mind who has kind of transformed United's approach in this, right? And the numbers really tell a fascinating story. And that player for me is Lammens, the Lammens revolution voice. Now, I don't think he is necessarily, a play at the back style of goalkeeper, right? And if we kind of look at, this, like if we just look at the numbers, right? He has, I think, 87%, like he's went long 87% of the time, right? And if we compare that to Andre Onana and this is from goal kicks, if we compare that to Andre Onana from last season, he went, 65% of the time Onana went long. So there's a direct idea from Lammens to be able to say, hey, let's go and just hoof the ball up there. Now, why not? There could be multiple reasons behind it, right? Maybe Onana didn't go long because they didn't trust the hold of play of Rasmus Højlund. That problem gets solved with Šeško playing up top for us. But even in that City game, and even in the Arsenal game, he was still going long. So we have been able to win back the second balls quite often. That's not necessarily a tactic, I'd say. That's not necessarily, good coaching. It's intent from the players to want to be able to, fight for those second balls. But when a goalkeeper has confidence that the team is going to be able to retain the ball, they're not necessarily going to look to try to pass it short, right? They will say, hey, why don't we just continue to push forward and make this chance, right? So that's why we see that distribution change and shift. Now, Lammens is not a ball-playing goalkeeper, and then maybe he might end up, getting better at his feet over time, right? But this is what suits him today, and it's also a tactic that suits him as well. Now, it's not just from goal kicks. In open play, Onana went long, right, for 21% of that distribution that he had. And remember, there were some moments where I felt a lot of panic with Onana. Lammens is double that. 42% of the time, he is going long, even in open play. He wants to continue to launch that ball forward because he wants to be able to find a way to pressurize it, right? The Athletic described him in their piece as a proactive goalkeeper by nature, right? He wants to attack the ball. He wants to dominate his space and impose himself rather than retreat, right? If we remember his debut against Sunderland, he repeatedly came off the line to claim crosses. And, the chants were out there, right? Are you Schmeichel in disguise? The fans were loving it. We were loving it as we were watching it as well. Now, it's a bit interesting because when I was listening to the Talk of the Devils podcast, is that when Senna makes a mistake, he almost immediately forgets about it, if there is one inside of a game of his, and will just continue on. Whereas with Onana, I felt like if he had a bit of a bad game or made a mistake in a game, that would continue to showcase throughout the rest of the game, and also the subsequent games afterwards until he was able to build his confidence back up. So for a guy who in an interview kind of went and said, Like, this is the same goalkeeper that was in the Champions League final the season before, or like, or before he joined, right? Um, you're really big at talking yourself up in an interview, but he didn't feel that way inside of games. I felt like Onana like was very much, once a mistake went into the net or kind of caused an error to go a goal into the net, he would shy away from everything. With Lammens, it's different, right? There is a quiet confidence about him. Now, he might not necessarily, let's say, have the best stats in terms of the shot save. And look, I mean, guys, if we look at our defensive performances, it's atrocious as a whole. But I'm also considering that, right? We defend as a team, right? So we still have to consider the back line that comes into play. But I have not seen a direct error from Lammens this season that has led to goal. In fact, I'm pretty sure that that is a statistic as well, right? There has not been a single error of his that has led to goal. Now, with Onana, I could probably have pointed like 4 or 5 in not even across the season, in probably a matter of 10 games, right? Like maybe even 5 games. I felt like we'd concede almost once every game, and getting a clean sheet was non-existent. I mean, same this season, but we'll get to our defensive line a little bit later on, right? So the shot stopping numbers are, in my mind, still a bit interesting as well. He's prevented about 2.9 more goals expected than based on the quality of chances that he's faced. It's not elite. It's not elite. And I think if you were to compare him to Emi Martinez, you might see that, right? Whereas Emi Martinez is probably preventing more goals based on the quality of chances that he's got there. But he's not a liability. And that's what I want us to recognize, is that and we've seen moments, right? That double save against Wolves, right? When I think that might ended up being the save of the season, right? Not just the initial stop, but then the ability to, manipulate that ball midair twice to just keep it away from Mosquera, who was coming in, right? It's what separates like the good shot stoppers from the elite ones, because this was something that I would see David De Gea do. And I felt like, whoa, hold up. Like that's something that was special in my mind. And he has a lot of room to improve. And we've seen it from David De Gea's first season. He wasn't the best goalkeeper in his first season either, but he had shown his class and he had shown his quality. I think those shot stopping numbers will continue to go up the more settled of a back line and a defense that we have, which we are starting to see in these games, right? And I think it will also continue to go up the more and more he's able to get this experience under his belt, right? And you're right, Arlo Sonny. For a keeper who seemed to like the spotlight so much, he did bottle it with confidence often. 100%. I felt like there were games where all we were talking about were Onana's mistakes. We're not doing that with Lammens, right? I feel like now when we're looking at, why have we conceded, or where was the error? It is almost happening in some space or some phase in the game of play that has been before that shot was able to go off, right? And so, anyways, my only concern here is, what do we then see, right? I'll say, from the club in the next statement. But I do want to kind of like pull it back just a bit before we talk about Harry Maguire. Is that in the summer we had the option to sign Emi Martinez from Villa, and I know the manager at the time wanted him, but the club, okay, to their credit, chose to go younger, cheaper, and I probably, dare I say it, potentially better in the long run. Especially if this is a player that continues to improve. I think he's worth more than the 18 million pounds that he came in for from Antwerp. Now, what's really unique about this situation is that when the club's hierarchy asked Tony Coton for his opinion, and this was Manchester United's former goalkeeping coach, he actually had recommended Lammens, but when they asked his opinion in comparison to Martinez, Coton had said that he felt like, Lammens was the better pick, not only for the now, but also for the long term, especially since he recognized that maybe you get like 3 extra points or something like that with Martinez or whatnot. But he's not necessarily going to be a player that you're going to actually grow with over time. And that's been really important in United's trajectory as a club, is that once we find a player that we recognize has potential and now we're putting him into an environment, we want them to stay. Right? We've had a lot of players stay with us. United is not necessarily a club that will, it feels like it'll be your final destination when you come or when you look to sign for the club itself, right? Because you're going to hit your peaks with us. If not, now lately that probably hasn't been the case, but I know that that's the idea or that's the intent that we're trying to get, behind. And to Ineos's credit, when Eric Ten Hag's sporting leadership, so John Murtaugh, and then when Eric Ten Hag had asked Tony Coton his opinion on Andre Onana, he didn't really bother to give it because he knew that they were just going to sign him anyways. And Ten Hag was just looking for like a little check mark of like, okay, yeah, like, I talked to Tony Coton about this. And that's a really interesting difference, right? That's a really key difference because we're seeing the decision pay off in real time with Lammens, where we took the advice of, the goalkeeping coach, right, at the time to be like, hey, yeah, this guy's probably the better fit and the better player for us. And it's so true. Even from, all the other metrics that we look at it, like, is he a good personality? Is he a clean living professional? Right? We've heard these terms over and over again. Lammens ticks all the boxes. I didn't feel that way about Emi Martinez because, in games, he's kind of like a loose cannon sometimes, where he's got a bit of a hothead and he's got all these antics and theatrics about him. I just felt like he was going to add more noise if he ever were to have a bad game than actually being able to deflect any of that noise. And right, we've seen it, right? We can see our defenses improve. We feel a lot more confident in the goalkeeper, despite him only having 3 clean sheets, which is insane. Right, because we wouldn't necessarily be saying that if it was maybe another keeper, but this is the calm that he's able to bring not only to United's defense, but also to United's fan base. Right, now let's talk about this next guy, right? And this is, the redemption arc here. We're going to talk about Harry Maguire. There is a piece in Andy Mitten's Athletic piece this week, right, that I really liked. And it was in Atlanta, August 2025, right? So this summer when they were on the tour, Harry Maguire and his dad, Alan, are having a debate about which one of them was the better player. And his dad's argument, Maguire's dad, was, I was on $35 per week as a center half in 1980 Sheffield playing on rough pitches against hard men. What was Harry's response? But Dad, I play for Man United, England. There's nothing more they can say, right? So they can smile now because right they get to like reflecting on the past a bit. But say what you will, Harry Maguire does play for United and he does play for England. He is definitely a leader both on and off the pitch. And this is, they can smile because after all of the abuse that he had faced, the criticism, the questions, Harry Maguire, in my mind, is having the last laugh here. If we look at, his direct rival, I would say, or, the comparison that we've had in, what is his face? Virgil van Disney, right? I mean, has he really been that much better as a defensive player than Maguire? Right, you can argue probably because he's got the trophies to show for it, but who has been able to kind of showcase the biggest amount of resilience mentally? I'd argue it's Maguire. Who's been the better leader off the pitch? Probably Harry Maguire, right? And so this is where I kind of want us to recognize and appreciate the fact that even though he was a player that even I hated at some points in time, I've definitely turned my tune and I give him a lot of credit and respect because irrespective of all of the hate, he didn't take the easy way out, which was just leaving. I know there was a move, like, ready for him to be able to actually leave one of the summers. I think it was 2 summers ago, but he had still chosen to stay because he felt like his story was unfinished. And after that, he has shown up in big moments for us. Even in the last game, he was the man of the match. He won every single duel, didn't lose a single one on the ground or in the air against Arsenal, which is a really physical team. And his record this season, when he started 6 games, 4 wins. 4 wins against City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, a draw against Spurs, and a defeat against Brentford. He's become a big-time player who's delivering in big moments for us. Right? His redemption arc at Old Trafford is one that no one predicted. I mean, who would have had like who would bet against his story having another chapter beyond this summer? Right? But that's the conundrum that we're facing, is that he turns 33 in March. He's out of contract. And he's been able to talk to, big clubs or foreign clubs or whomever he wants to since January 1st. Right? I know Italian clubs and Turkish clubs apparently have been in touch and trying to get him. Right now, he's about at 190,000 pounds a week or so, amongst the top earners at our club. But with Casemiro leaving, likely the exit of Rashford, right? The wage bill is gonna come down for sure. I'm not saying we re-sign him to that same deal, but could we get him back on a year extension where there's a much higher performance-based incentive? Because he brings a lot both on and off the pitch. I think he is a presence in the dressing room that I really like. And what do we actually do? Because if we look at it, Matthias de Ligt has been out the last 11 games with the back injury. When we saw this combination of Linioro and Aiden Heaven, we saw how inconsistent it was because they're both so young. And even though Aiden Heaven cost £1 million, Yoro was, I think, close to 50 million, right? If not actually 50 million. Both combined are cheaper than Maguire, but both, as a center back pair or even inside of that back three, struggled, against numerous opposition. Not necessarily with going forward, but on the defensive side of the ball. And let's be honest, right? Our defense does need fixing, but everything that we hear about the summer transfer window, I'm not even talking about January, guys, because we're not signing anybody. I don't know if you've noticed this, but we aren't. So, but when we talk about the summer transfer window, it's been, we're going to revamp the midfield. We're going to revamp the midfield. We're going to revamp the midfield. Who knows if we even actually get a defender? It might make a lot of sense for our club to just continue to keep him, because we've conceded 34 goals in 23 games, right? Or or so. That's more than any other club inside of the top 12. We need that stability, especially because we don't have it with 2 injury-prone center backs in my mind, in Matthias de Ligt and Lisandro Martinez. So if Maguire can continue to stay fit, and again, let's hope, fingers crossed, we're playing a lot more games. We're in Europe next season. We might actually end up wanting to have a player like him who we can bring on to help us close out a match, see out a match, maybe even start certain games against opposition in different competitions that we might not necessarily be able to field our strongest lineup because of us looking at the future. And on Inside Carrington, he was on this past week with, it was him and Heaven, right? And he said these boys have got a lot to learn when they're playing on the biggest stage. It's a tough school to play at this age, and they're learning the hard way, and he says, I'm at the stage now where I just want to be a part of a successful group. So I get it, right? That's leadership. It is experience. It's value in my mind beyond what the data shows. And again, this channel, you folks, we all like to use data, but we want to use data to be able to paint and color a story. And to me, the story is that, if a guy like Harry Maguire leaves the club, I don't necessarily think we'll necessarily benefit from it entirely, especially when we look at some of the other exits that are there. Like Casemiro's confirmed leaving. He's still a big presence in the dressing room. That is still a leader, right? We call him Uncle Cass. He's an uncle for a reason, right? I mean, the players also respect and look up to him. And why wouldn't they? 5-time champion leagues winner, came to United, won 2 trophies in his first 2 years. Just saying. But Carrick also rates Maguire as a player and as a person, right? And I think it's going to come down to both money and the contract length. But I hope we can find a situation. And here's my question to you guys. Do we keep Maguire? Right? Do we even think keeping Maguire blocks somebody else's development, or is that experience irreplaceable right now? But as we kind of move on, I want to lighten things up just a little bit because I found this really funny as well before we take on the call-in that Xi Jinping, right, was gifted a ball by Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK, when he went to China this week. I think it was the first UK Prime Minister to visit in 8 years, so it was a big news story. But it's a big diplomatic summit, and he decided to bring a gift. And what gift did he bring? He brought a signed match ball from the Arsenal United game. And Xi Jinping is apparently a known Manchester United supporter. Here's the kicker. He also told Starmer that he has a fondness for City, Palace, and Arsenal. So I'm like, buddy, you just support the big teams or what? I kind of had to look into why is that the case? But no, he is a United fan. And I'll explain why he's fond of some of the other clubs as well. But just note, apparently Keir Starmer is an Arsenal season ticket holder, or at least he regularly attends because that's a team he's a fan of. It was a little bit wild that he's handing over a ball to his team lost to a guy who he's a fan of, or a guy who is a fan of that team. But anyways, the City and Palace connections for Xi Jinping, they run pretty deep. So back in 2015, apparently he toured the City training complex, and then I think he took a really awkward selfie with Sergio Aguero and David Cameron, the then Prime Minister at the time. And China Media Group also owns about 13% of City Football Group, right? So of course, why wouldn't he be a fan of something that they're invested in? And Palace apparently is because the first Chinese players to ever sign for an English club both joined Palace in 1998, and their debut was against Norwich, which was apparently reportedly watched by 300 million people in China, and they were Sun Jihai and Fan Zhiyi. Now, I never remembered these players, never knew who they were until I actually looked up, why he was a Palace fan in the first place. But I'm just saying, it just underlines the soft power that the brand, the Premier League has, and which one's the biggest one inside of that? Manchester United, especially across some of these dealings. But anyways, just wanted to keep it a little light before we kind of talk, go to the next part, which is the call-in. I'll put in the link to the StreamYard in just a sec, but I've got somebody already waiting for me. Hey, Ray, how are you doing? I know. Sorry for not being on the last 2 days. And for those of you guys who are watching, I've put it in. I'm going to pin it. If you have not liked the stream, please do so. And if you haven't subscribed, if you're watching, then come on, subscribe. At least for me. Let me just, if you don't like me, then fine. Maybe you like Andy, then subscribe for him. Anywho's, Ray, how you doing, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
So I've been busy past couple of days. Yeah. So glad I was able to get on tonight. So yeah.
I'm sorry I was able to catch most of your Maguire stuff, but were you leaning towards him re-signing?
Yeah, I'm a fan of Harry. I would love him to continue to stay at the club for sure.
Yeah. I think it's probably I guess it's going to depend on the price. However, I already know Nelson's going to say he's gone right now. He'll probably say it, but because most likely we would still have De Ligt and Licha, Euro, Heaven, and that's a pretty good back four for a rotation and on a back four defensive strategy, right?
You guys.
We're talking about Harry Maguire. Sorry.
I just want to clarify that I have seen Harry Maguire have more clangers than good games. And for me,
I have recency bias, Nelson. I don't care.
I know. And I think a lot of fans are forgetting that the times Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw seem to play well is whenever there's a World Cup or a Euros coming. Always. They always seem to play better when they know they have to get into the squad. I think the loss of Casemiro is going to be a lot bigger. I think if De Ligt was here, the level would have still been the same. Honestly, I think De Ligt is really good. So Harry can leave, in my opinion. I do think we need to replace him, but I think he should leave for me. I prefer. I've wanted Harry Maguire gone for a while. Massive wages for a decent player. He'd be a good player for a lower level team, to be fair, like Sunderland or Leeds or something like that. But if we're trying to get to top 4 level, the guy can't play in a high block. Like we can't do mid block with him. It has to be low block. That will work against City and Arsenal. It won't work against Fulham. So,
what if it's like 200? Like, what if it's $150,000 less for him? 150,000 less on his wage
for just 1 year. I feel like we're just for 2 years. So he plays till he's 34.
Brother, I would take him at 100 grand a week for a year at least.
Oy. Nah, I think dude, there's so many good. Like we can get Senesi from Bournemouth, who's really good. He's 28. Yeah, you can get Van Hecke too. There's so many good young. Like
Nelson, I just don't know if whether or not we'll actually invest in that part of the pitch unless it's somebody that's like a Lammens type signing, right? Sub 20 million, probably young. Especially since we're talking about we want to rebuild the whole midfield. That's my take on it. There's just a why I think I'm more pro it because I don't want to put us in a weird situation defensively when all we have are like under 26s and they for the life of them can't see a game out.
And then your Meek and I also made the point on the Discord today, Nelson, was that De Ligt and Licha are quite injury prone in their short tenures on the club. And Maguire also has, but he hasn't been as bad. And Licha's injuries are his toes and his foot. So the way that he stomps around and he's very, he's violent with his running, that could always happen at any time. And then you have to rely on Heaven and Euro to do long periods of time. And I remember you saying that you think Euro's probably better in a back 4, so he could probably fill in better. And Heaven's really good at the left side, right? So I just
Darshan, thank you.
Have those choices.
Yeah, Darshan, thank you for that super chat, by the way. You didn't say anything in it, but just want to let you know. So, yeah. Anyways, Nelson, continue. Sorry about that.
No. Yeah, I think because we haven't really seen Euro in like the main center back position. Like it's easier in a back 4 for me to see if Euro is going to be better because in a double pivot in front of him. So let's assume we get for all intents and purposes, we're probably going to get either Anderson or Baleba, who are a lot better defensively, like in just running in this case. So they'll cover a lot more space. They'll cover a lot more ground. I think having Euro isn't that crazy. But again, you're right. They're not good enough. We should technically get in another senior defender, one more, if Maguire's leaving. I don't think there's a strong enough argument for me to keep Maguire outside of the fact that we're going where he's a leader. He's all these things. He was one of our worst captains, boys. Like he really was.
Captain. Yeah,
he was one of our worst. Yeah. But that was a larger part of his career. We're basing this off of, let's be honest, 2 games.
No. Since they took off the captain's ban for him, he's hit where his expectations were. It's the same thing that happened with Bruno. Once Bruno became captain, all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's not captain material. It's exactly the same thing they did with Harry when he wasn't doing well. But without that pressure on him, he's been decent.
So what range are we using? for how good Harry
I'm
Maguire
talking
is.
about the clutch plays that he's
Yeah,
got.
that's 2 games.
No.
Which are the games? Because even early in the season, when we
I
were playing a
will,
back three,
yeah, I will tell you
yeah,
one thing, Nelson.
mm,
So if you remember back to Europa League 2021 when we made the final,
mm-hmm,
Maguire was injured
mm-hmm,
at that time, and
yeah,
we were in a very good run of games. And the only thing I remember, or like only narrative I remember about that time,
mm,
is if Maguire was there in that lineup versus Villarreal, we would have won that game, and that game would have not gone to penalties. So
I disagree
oh,
only because like we also missed like
um,
a lot of chances
yeah,
in my mind, and it was like you're right. Maybe we don't concede with Maguire, but it's not like we don't win
like I
it.
remember he had a rich form of games at that time. He
Yeah,
was
no,
good.
I
Yeah,
agree. I thought he was
and it's
excellent
not
too.
like just these last 2 games. Is
Yeah,
like, and what the narrative is also is that once he lost the captaincy, he has been kind of a good role model in like picking up. He didn't shrug away, or he did not cry about it or anything, but he was like a good model professional. But again, having said that, if I look at it dispassionately, he is over 30 years old right now, and I don't think Ineos is, and I think even the Ineos leadership has said that in the past, like they would not want to spend that kind of money on like the older generation of players, like 30 plus, 31 plus,
they
unless
they
it's
yeah, they're definitely critical around at least that Casemiro deal itself, but they will find that, like Nelson said, we will miss Casemiro a lot more than us missing maybe Harry Maguire.
right.
But this is just kind of like a tap in, right? It's it's a guy who wants to stay at the club for sure. It's not like he doesn't. I know he's a fan of United, and it's also somebody that we could probably get cheaper than what his current wage is. Now, if he says like, "No, you know what? Like, I want to continue making the money that I'm making," then yeah, he's gone. But we haven't heard that, and much to credit to his character, he doesn't seem like that type of person at all.
Can you just ask a question? Because I think Darshan, I just looked at the Villarreal match. I think Darshan has a point because if you do you remember who the 2 starting center backs were for that game?
Was it
Yeah,
Lindelof?
Lindelof and
Lindelof and
Bailly.
Bailly.
And
Yeah,
I
Bailey,
like
yeah.
Bailly, by the way.
So,
I actually,
yeah, but
I thought
Maguire
Bailly
is
was a
better than
good.
him.
Okay, but that was a what, like a 1-1? Or
Yeah, it
sorry,
was a
1-1.
1-1.
One,
Yeah, it was
That's
a
what I'm
1-1.
wondering.
penalties, it was De Gea who lost the penalty.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, but like
we could have they could have still
that's so
considered the goal.
revisionist to say that like we're
Yeah.
gonna, because we had Maguire that we would have like
No,
won
I'm
that.
not
I
saying.
remember that, and I'm just like, no,
No.
it wasn't. Maguire wasn't gonna make a difference in us
Yeah,
not conceding. It was we couldn't finish any of our chances that game.
exactly.
Right. Yeah, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that he was in a rich vein of form before he got injured
Mm-hmm.
during that period of time. So it's not like, and he was a massive like presence in the team during that
Mm-hmm.
form, and we missed him in the final.
Yeah, we definitely
That's
missed him. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, for sure.
and
I agree with that. We definitely missed him. Does it not go to that goalkeeper penalty if he's in it? I don't think so. Right?
yeah. The outcome
Like,
is
yeah.
definitely on us. We should have finished a lot of chances.
It's either we would have won or Maguire would have ran into Shaw and then they had another goal for a 2-1. It was going to be that. It was that type of year that year, right? So it was
Yeah.
it was wild.
Yeah. I mean, credit to Ole, right? But like again, look at where we are now when we discuss it. Like especially in the last Europa League final that we were just in, that wasn't a game of like, oh, if we had this player, we could have won. That was a game where we just saw, well, it didn't matter. Like we weren't going to score even if we played for like 90 days. Forget 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask a question on who you'd rather go though, Nelson?
For
Maguire or
Yeah.
Dallo? If you can only move one this summer.
Maguire or Dallo? Or Dallo. I think Maguire we have a use for him. If we're playing a low block, I think, or even if you're playing like, let's say last 30 minutes of a game, and you need like that defender, I think Maguire does a good job. Dallo has scammed a career at United. Like I want that guy gone. So I can
I
definitely say,
disagree, Nelson.
oh my
Hey,
days,
first off,
you
let me just say, Roberto,
go on.
I thought you were going to come today, and
I
now we're
wasn't.
ready to debate. Let's do it.
Yeah, I disagree. I think one of the best things you can have in a player is like availability. And I think he's available. And yeah, he's not the greatest, but at least you have someone that has experience at the top level.
At being bad though, not being
He's
good.
not always bad. I
He's
disagree.
available
I
at
think we
being
saw
bad.
the worst. I think we saw the worst of him at wing back, like in that back three system. We saw the worst of him. I think as a right back, he's not bad. Like if your starting right back gets injured and you have to play him, like he's not gonna screw it over. And we've seen, I know it's only been 2 games, but he's been pretty diligent with his defensive duties now that he's back at right back. So
Roberto, can I add that one season that he had? I felt like he was our player of the season almost. I think it was under Ten Hag, right? Like that first season under Ten Hag, or no, not the first season, but like at some point, like I was like, wow, this guy's like actually like starting to come good, and maybe that's why Jose ended up signing him, and you just never got to see it. But I know he's had only one. In my mind, he's only had like only one exceptional or like good season for United, and he hasn't shown.
He just shouldn't be a starter. I think the problem is that he's been a starter for a while now, and people are getting tired of him. But we should sign someone over him, and I know we have Maz as well, but Maz can be has been injury prone in the past.
Yes, he has.
I feel like Maz is just way better at center back. I don't know. Like, I don't think he's
just a great footballer.
I think that's Maz is just a much better footballer than he is. Yeah. And to me, this is my problem with Dalot. Dalot has been stated by probably now 2 back-to-back coaches as like a leader.
Wait,
and when I start hearing leadership, I start getting pissed.
I know, but Nelson, can I just pause?
Please, sorry.
Chat goes, Roberto, the only excuse you could have is your Portuguese.
I'm not Portuguese.
That's here we go. Like, look, I do you remember when we had Wan-Bissaka and Dalot?
Yes.
And we were like, we realized how poor both of them were. But at the very least, you looked at Wan-Bissaka and went, at least defensively, he knows what he's doing. But when it comes to Dalot, he's not that great offensively, and he's not that good defensively. And he's just okay at both. And depending on the game state, depending on the people we're playing, like, here's another thing, Roberto. If it wasn't for the fact that Ahmad has played wing back for the last year, and his defensive awareness has improved significantly, I think you see Dalot getting beat a lot more. But because Diallo's helping him so much, it actually makes him look a lot more competent. But if next season we decide to adjust stuff, if we start adjusting things and we want to play more offensive, Dallow's going to be 1v1ing people. And I have seen him, he gets skinned by everybody, from average players to amazing players. That's why I don't want him.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm a bit indifferent on this. But if I have to criticize Dalot on one thing, is he gets decisions wrong all the time.
Yes.
No. Hold on. I want to clarify this. No. Hold on. I want to clarify this. He gets offensive decisions wrong.
Yeah, offensive decisions.
Yeah, and he somehow manages to be in a place where he's the only guy like with an open goal, and we'll still sky it, or like we'll still like mess it up. And I think defensively he does it a lot better.
Yes.
But like,
No, I think
here's my counter to that though, Shaylin. He's the guy who's there. He's in that position, so he had to make some good decision to get there.
Yeah,
that's the final product.
The issue is that he gets placed there because there's a system that allowed him to be there. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like I don't think it's been that like he was so good or whatever. But like when you're playing a back three and then you have Dalot as like a wing back option, they're effectively wingers, so they are going to be pressing up high. So I mean, like, come on now. Yes, the system has changed, but even under like even under like Ten Hag, he was the only option that we had to give us actual width on the right that was like somewhat useful. apart from Anthony, who was like, I want to be Ari and Robin, but the Brazilian version, and just could not do it. So
hey, Anthony's 720 spins were very good. They just didn't do anything.
Listen, I recognize he's also the GOAT, as he's showing us in Batiste, and we are 100% wrong about
Is he doing well this year in Batiste? I know last year he did well.
No, he's doing really well.
Guys,
He's
doing good.
He's actually doing really well.
They got him for cheap. Him for cheap, I'll be honest. So
Did
they buy him or
yesterday?
no,
he's
he's gone.
is he low?
No, we sold him. We sold him.
We sold him.
Okay.
He's gone.
Just wondering if he was coming back to give us width next year and not like Rashford is.
Rashford is not coming back. Brother is going to PSG if Barcelona don't want him.
No, I think
the way I play is if he's still a player that's with us, he's still with us until they tell me he's finally gone.
I think we keep him because I don't think Barcelona will.
Barcelona can't afford him.
Yeah, they can't afford him. I genuinely think he's going to stay here next season, and then he leaves on a free the next. It's just like what it's the brokest club in the world, by the way. Barcelona, they can't register anyone.
I know they really can't.
Yeah.
They got levers, buddy.
Players keep signing for them. They keep going.
Man, hey, so let me bring this up to like what we were talking about a bit earlier, right? Because again, Fulham pre-match. Do you see a path for us beating a low block? I don't. So does anybody here think that we've got a way to be able to unlock the way that we're probably going to get played against on Sunday?
I think we can. I think we're going to see us building up a lot more in the midfield to try and bait their press, and then try you've seen how we've done those quick 1-2s to get our. I mean, most of our goals have been created the same. It's like the 1-2, then they run right through the middle.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see a lot of that. We're going to try to bait their press quite a bit. And I still think we're going to play a mid block because Fulham's got some firepower that can hurt us. So I think we're still going to play it a bit conservative, but I definitely think there's a way. They're pretty attacking when they want. Fulham's pretty attacking when they want to be. So I think we can hurt them on the counter.
I have another thought on this, and this will sound like a hot take. The last 10 minutes, the player we were criticizing, he has to step up. And
Herrera or Dallo?
Dallo.
Oh, okay. All right. Why did he step up? You got to explain this, man.
Yeah, so my line of thinking about beating this kind of mid block or low block team is through the wings. We need to have both Amada and Dallo bombing. I don't have much trust on Shaw to attack from the left wing along with Cunha. I guess Cunha will start. I think Cunha will be the only person who will be operating in that area. So we need both Amada and Dallo to kind of bombard their final third.
Dashan, can I say the only issue I have with that is I think Andy and I actually like this player. Anthony Robinson, he's finally back. It seems that whatever issue he had with Marco Silva was finally put aside. And they have Kevin. And both are rapid on that side. They are insanely quick. If we push up Dallo, I want Dallo as the defensive one. And, well, Dogu isn't there anymore. But I at least believe Shaw has better output. Shaw is a better
Nelson,
crosser.
there's no if we push up. They're gonna sit deep. So our team is gonna be pushed up, right? Even if Dallo sits back, it's gonna be 1v2 at best.
But that's my fear is if Kevin is literally the worst guy we can face with Dallo because he's rapid, he can dribble, he dribbles on with the ball very well. And Robinson as the follow-up guy. Diallo isn't that quick, by the way. Ahmad's quite slow. He's quick on the acceleration part, but not full
speed. Yeah,
full speed. He's not that quick. So that side is actually, I think we're going to be extremely conservative on the right side.
This is you still saying we're playing. What's his guy? Mbumo as a striker, right?
I assumed Mbumo might play left wing.
I was gonna say I actually think more than trying to fit Sheshko into the team as a striker and then moving Mbumo to the left wing, I think Cunha might be better off the right. And that's why I think he might do that, right? So Cunha off the right and Mbumo off the left, Sheshko up top, and Bruno in the 10, which means Ahmad has to sit out. I think that's what's going to happen. And Ahmad will be brought off the bench. Or he sticks with the starting 11 with just putting Sheshko in and Mbumo off the left and keeps Ahmad on the right and uses Cunha off the bench again. I think those are the two options. The only reason I like Cunha and Kobe starting this game is because against a low block, you need to pull people out of position. And doing the progressive carrying, the drop of the shoulder to get past your man, like that type of stuff. Those are our two best players at that.
Guys, I'm telling you, this is the game. Money Mace is going to come on in the 60th minute, play a 1-2, and then he's going to show us why he's wearing the number 7.
Mason Mount hasn't even smelt the pitch, and I'm loving it.
He scored a goal against City.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
You did.
That's the last game.
Percentage.
That's a great percent, to be fair. But when I look at the reason Yomik and Dashad had said something in the Discord that I fully now have just come to accept. The fact that we know he likes Ahmad Carrick, I think Ahmad will definitely play. I don't think Ahmad is getting benched. I think the left side is probably going to be Mbumo and then Cunha striker. Because we'll need pace, and Cunha's not quick either. He's not quick. We need. That's I think a mad reason why. I think it's the reason why Dogu was playing so much. Not just his defensive output, but the fact that he could move up and down at a rapid pace.
Go
on.
Let me just read two of the chats. I think they're pretty funny. But Hasib 6R says Xerxes the fakest 6'4" ever, man. Right? Because this is in response to Arlo saying, like, why don't we just play Xerxes and Sheshko up top front together, right? Just cross, just spam crosses all day. Look at that cute dog. Andy, is that your family dog, or is that somebody's dog, or what's going on there?
It's complicated. There are two dogs here that are semi-adopted, that are kind of wild, but they come and, chill here. We feed them. Or my wife's family feeds them.
Okay. So so they're just they're just taking care of a stray. Cool. Love it.
That's true.
I'll put my thoughts. I think Cunha starts on the left. I think Mbumo was going to stay just because, like I said last time, Carrick has the front four rotating a lot anyway. Wherever there's space, they move there, especially if they're doing a press and everybody rotates. And the reason why I like Cunha on here is he and Kobe are really good at close control dribbling through people trying to get the ball from them. And we're going to need that, I think, unless we're just spamming crosses all the time. And I don't see why we would do that. We're not that type of a team, and we haven't shown that we can spam crosses at all. So I figure it's going to be a lot of rondos and a lot of quick touches through traffic again, and that might require some dribbling. And I think, Shaylin, I think it was you who said that there was somebody on your review of the Arsenal game. Somebody said that Cunha loves to come from his left, go towards the middle, and strike that ball. So if he's there, he might be running in to do those types of strikes again, just like they did when he did the goal. So I think we're going to be able to beat the low block. I don't think it's coming from crosses. I think it's going to be from the quick touch football. And I think it's better because of the new setup that we have with the 4-2-3-1. It's a little bit easier for the players to understand how to attack these low blocks than the thing that they were trying to do under Amarin's old system. I think they're going to be in better positionings. I'm feeling a really good possession-based game where we actually do go through a low block a couple of times, and we're going to
guys. The answer is simple. Whether we win this game or not is about worldies. And there's a certain player named Morgan Rogers that has shown us that you can make a team win 10, 15 games in a row if you keep scoring those worldies. So there's every chance we win this. In fact, I'd say there's a higher chance we win 5 games in a row than we don't, because all the players are just revitalized to go forward, and the training sessions are harder and all that nonsense, right? So I think there's a chance, but look, I can see a draw coming from a mile away, where we don't create anything because listen, it's not like Michael Carrick has just become Pep Guardiola and
But it
whatever.
is.
Johnny Evans is
But
the
it
next
is.
No, Johnny Evans is the next Mikel Arteta. You know, he's gonna go manage whatever Leicester and win the league, or finish second 3 times in a row, like 5
You
years from
probably
now.
could do it. I
No,
don't
I'm
know. I
saying
want to live.
these are all things
I
that can
want to live
happen.
in the world where that's possible, and I think it's. But yeah.
Can I just say somebody in the YouTube chat just said, "Wow, James Bond has joined us."
Yes,
So
Joao
maybe let's
Pereira.
listen to Thailand James
Hello,
Bond.
yeah. Thailand James Bond. What's
Hey.
up, man? How are you?
Hey,
He looks more like Men
Sawadee
in Black, though.
oh
Saudi
my God. Tell me that. That's terrible. How you all doing?
Good.
I'm driving
Pretty good.
I'm driving to the protest.
Oh yeah,
Love
the
that.
Fulham protest.
Come on, protesters. Come on.
Ray's got a big question mark on his face. Ray, there's a protest planned ahead of the Fulham game, and it
By
takes
the
a while to drive from
1958.
Thailand. So he's
It
getting.
looks like Cabbage is
Yeah.
joining the
I-
protest too.
I'm hoping I'll be there in time for kickoff. Come on.
That's funny. Wow.
No, it's it's kind of always hot. This match is bittersweet for me because I always want my team to win, and you know I like to join into your conversation, but I still basically my bigger picture is always on the something to get these Glazers and Ineoses to do the right thing. You know, started to dampen the atmosphere.
Billionaires doing the right
No,
thing.
no,
is
that's
something that normally goes together.
No, it
Ray,
isn't.
that's such a
That's exactly why we need a protest, or we need pressurizing in the way that Liverpool fans used to do against Gillette and all the other those kind of
Hicks and
people.
Gillette. Yeah, no, I remember. Rafa, I mean, you got
Yeah.
any predictions for the game? I'll take him before you head up. I also don't want to put you in a precarious situation where you drive and are on stream.
No,
Are you
that's
actually
all right.
driving, Ref?
Yeah.
I'm using a Tesla, you know, automatic driving. It takes me there. Starting to get political, you know. How's life in IC America? Whoa, bad one.
Okay.
You guys, I was worried about you guys. I thought maybe, you know, someone had taken you away. We didn't have you for a few days.
No, I've been
Sorry.
Busy. I've been busy.
I'm Mark Carney in, Andy. I'm Mark Carney in. I'm Minnesota
Yeah, let's
United.
go.
All right.
Come on.
See ya, Rafa. What a guy, man! Every time he comes on, there's something new with him. Anyways, but give me some. We're almost at an hour in. I think if you guys have some score predictions, Andy, I know you said draw, but it could be a 4-4 draw.
Yeah, can I? I want to go back to something Nelson said because I think I missed the first, like I caught the beginning of your call-in show, and I was listening to you guys have a conversation about Casemiro versus Maguire in terms of importance to the team, and Nelson said that we will miss Casemiro more than we will miss Maguire. I think that's an interesting point that may not hold next season because we're very likely to invest heavily in the midfield, which means if Casemiro stays, his importance will go down. But he's not staying now, right? So as we see it now, Casemiro's value is much higher because he's the only player in that position who can play that type of role. Whereas Maguire, it's very possible that maybe one of Licha or Luke Shaw is allowed to leave in the summer. We still have Aiden Heaven and Euro, who are inexperienced Premier League center backs. And if Maguire also leaves and we don't invest in the back line, which again, with Ineos' track record, would we be surprised? Not really. Or we probably bring in another like 21-year-old center back or something like that. I think we will miss Maguire more next season.
Can I flesh out why I think Casemiro is the bigger loss? Will be because we already have two experienced centre backs. We have De Ligt and we have Licha. If we lose Casemiro, his partner, who's Kobe, is what, 20, 21? And any of the two we've been linked with, it's Elliot Anderson, who's 23, never played Europe, well, he's playing Europe now, technically, like Conference League or whatever. But never played if we make it to the Champions League, never played Champions League football. Baleba, same thing. And another problem is we've seen now with Baleba, had an amazing season last season. This season, kind of struggling.
Wait, are we sure? Are we sure Baleba hasn't played Champions League with Lille?
He might have, maybe.
Yeah,
wait,
but
he was what,
it's not relevant.
Yeah.
It's not relevant. Yeah, it's not relevant.
He's still too. He was still too young, 19.
Yeah.
So like, and we've seen now Baleba being impacted by the thought of coming to United, and then he had the injury. He's been slowly coming back. But my concern is, if you look at every single player, all of them, from Šeško, every single one usually says the person who's calmest is always Casemiro. Every single person says this. And I think his leadership qualities is what we're going to miss more than anything else. Not his stats or anything, because I don't think we will. If we were getting like a more experienced guy coming in, I'd be with you. I'd be 100% with you saying he can leave. Let's get this guy in, and then we're fine. I don't think we're going to.
Let me give you a scenario, okay? Because I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. And Shaylin, we'll wrap it up soon. Don't worry.
No worries.
With if we go get an Ederson, right? Do you think he starts over Kobe in the big games?
Edison or Anderson?
Yeah.
Edison, like the Atalanta player. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think he does.
Right.
Yeah.
So if it's Ederson and Anderson in the midfield, I think that's overall a better midfield than Casemiro and Kobe. Now that's on the pitch. You said something interesting, which is off the pitch as well, which is Casemiro's experience, etc. The problem I have there is Ineos is not going to keep him around just for the experience, right? And we already
100%.
know that, like he's leaving.
Yeah, he's gone.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say. So I think with Maguire, the reason the decision hasn't been made yet is because they're seeing this a little similar to what I'm seeing it, which is Maguire offers us more in terms of the English Brexit experience in the back room, because actually they offer a lot of the same things, right? Like Maguire is to the center back line, let's say a lower version of Casemiro is to what the midfield line, because obviously 5 Champions Leagues, Real Madrid, all of that, right? But Casemiro is also like on his day looks far worse than Maguire looks, in my opinion, right? When he's having a bad game, I think it's like, Jesus, like we're going to lose this because of Casemiro. And we've had that already this season. So I just think because of how unreliable all the rest of our center backs are, in De Ligt, injury prone, Luke Shaw injury prone, Martinez injury prone. I mean, Maguire himself is injury prone as well, right? So I actually think it's a closer case, even if you don't agree, it's flat out like, you know, whatever, Maguire over Casemiro. It's a closer case than maybe you might think.
Can I ask a question, guys? Do you guys think there's a world where we lose Maguire, we know Casemiro's leaving, and Bruno leaves?
Yes.
And how do you guys think the team deals with that? Because that's like that's a huge chunk of our leader.
Brother, we're all in on Luke Shaw as captain, I guess. I don't know.
Captain will be Dallo, and Nelson is gonna like lose his mind.
Steve in the chat are both
by the way, Dallo apparently Dallo's worth 70 million, guys. Did you see the story? Dallo's worth 70 million. Yeah, there was a incredible story.
Yeah. There's no chance that's in pounds or euros. But if
next captain, Diego Dallo.
But I'm going to be honest with you, Roberto. I think there is a really big possibility that happens. Because reports have already come out that we're not renewing Maguire's contract, and we know that there is a very large possibility if Saudi comes back, large bid. I think they take it again. Like I think they take 90 million, and he's gone. And now it's a whole rebuild.
He wants to leave. You always forget that part where
Can I?
Yeah, true.
So even if they like, that's the problem.
Can I give you
Bruno outers were that problem?
Go ahead, Ray. Sorry, I didn't. I've got like a half-second delay. Yeah.
I think if the only way I think Bruno stays for sure is if we make Champions League. I think he's not going to leave if that happens, because that's if he's going to a club in Italy or in Spain, it's to play in Champions League, right?
Mhm.
So if we make Champions League, that's one of the decisions gone. What's going to be problematic, I think, is if another report comes out, Saudi paid 90, but Bruno doesn't want to leave. People are going to be pissed off that Bruno doesn't leave, and they were pissed off this year that he didn't leave for 100 million. Like, he didn't have a choice to say no to go to Saudi. So, but if he leaves and Maguire leaves, and
No, he had a
Casemiro's of course
choice. Like,
gone.
you know, the club put it on him, right? That
Yeah.
Yeah.
like,
But remember,
and
Yeah,
like,
the club
even
gave him a
halfway through the
choice. Yeah.
season, the comments were like, "Oh, we should have sold him. We should have sold him. We could have made 100 million." But that's not a true statement, because he was never going to leave. You can sell him maybe to Spain and Italy for half of that, but the whole point was, the reason why people were pissed was like Amrin begged him to stay, and we lost 100 million, which is not
Guys,
like
can
the
I-
reality of it.
Yeah, I'll make this let's say a clear-cut decision, right? I think if we make Champions League,
Bruno's gone.
there's a case.
Yeah.
Hello?
Like, if
No,
we
no,
make
no, no.
Champions
Hear me
League,
out.
he's
Hear me out.
gone.
No. It's the opposite. I think if we make Champions League, there's two reasons why I don't think Bruno leaves. One, the players that we bring in probably want to play with Bruno, right? Anderson and all the other midfielders or signings that we want
I
to
will
make, they want
say-
to play with Bruno because they know it'll be better with Bruno. And then he doesn't want to leave because I think the talk has always been to give him like a year or two extension. That's the
No, I'll
conversation that
say-
they've been having in the background.
This, I don't think that. The way that his interview came out with the Portuguese media, this was like, not, I wouldn't say it was his Ronaldo moment, but it felt very like akin to, okay, hey guys, like, I'm basically gonna tell you my side of the story. I don't think he's enthused with the ownership or whatever,
Mhm.
because he's like, if you value me as a player, you would have been like, no, like, we're not even going to entertain this. Like we're obviously we're presenting it to you because we're legally obliged to present the offers to you, and your agent is. But like, we want to keep you. So like, what can we do to make it happen? Short of maybe winning the league, I don't see us like keeping Bruno. And I mean, I don't think we're winning the league. So I'm pretty sure Bruno is gone solely because of the fact that he likely does not have any relationship with like the hierarchy. That's
I
there.
think he doesn't like the idea that not only were we were seriously considering it. That's the thing
Yeah.
that pissed him off.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, I like the fact that we did consider it. He is getting older. We for the first time in his career, we saw an injury. And like, these are the things that, let's be honest, if he was out for the rest of the season, the noise that people would have made that we didn't take the 100 million quadruples.
100%.
But so
No,
to be
but
honest-
guys,
Yeah.
we're missing an important factor here. Bruno has always had his ear to the ground in terms of what the fan base thinks about him. Right? He's more than any other player, like, he respects what the fans give him, and he, gives that respect back. Right? His performance levels haven't dropped even after Ruben Amorim getting sacked. I think Amorim getting sacked the way he did was probably a bigger reason than even the interview that he did or the 100 million whatever that they were considering, right? Because it was like, merciless killing of Ruben Amorim in a way. So I just think that in terms of the fan connection, in terms of looking at it as like a 1 to 2 years more, and then he gets to leave, is an offer that he might consider. Now, if they try to F around and say, oh, we're going to give you 20,000 less because, based on our salary models, it's this and that, like, okay, then he's gonna go, right? So it all depends on how they approach this. And if they're like, listen, you have been our most important player. Next year, if we want to make a serious push for Project 2028, you're our biggest piece for it, which I think all of us can agree, right? For us to win a league title in the next 2 years, Bruno being here makes a big difference. Just look at it this year. He's got the most assists. He's got the most goal contributions in our team. And nobody is, surprised. So I definitely want him to
he's been
stay.
playing deep too. He hasn't been playing in his preferred position.
Exactly. Yeah. He's been playing deep as well. But anyways, I mean, look, maybe it's wishful thinking from my side, but I am still a little bit optimistic that he does stay because, like you guys said, right, Casemiro, Maguire, and Bruno leaving means Luke Shaw is your most senior player, right? And The only line he's in front of is the hot dog line. So I don't know. Like
Shaw's already our most senior player.
no,
think
not
he
in
is.
terms of tenure at the club. Not in terms of tenure at the club.
Yeah,
I
he is
mean,
tenure at the
higher,
club.
no, I-
Yeah.
like hierarchy.
no, I'm not saying.
Hierarchy.
I'm not saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm saying in terms of like quality, in terms of experience, like what they mean in terms of level. That's what I mean. By the way, Luke Shaw, the first time in his career, he's played 23 consecutive Premier League games.
Exactly.
You better
It's
knock
like
on
it's-
some wood
there's
right
a
now.
World Cup.
What are you doing? Knock
Yeah,
on wood.
right behind
Knock
you. I
on
see
some
right up
Indian
top
wood
there.
right
Right
now.
Knock
What are
on
you
all
doing?
the wood.
Yeah, knock on that. That teak wood
One
right
thing,
behind you.
right?
Kidding me with that?
But the concern I have though, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate because
Guys, wait. Before you go play though, this
Yeah.
brother did not knock on any wood. He wants Shaw to get injured. He is a hater.
Knock
Yeah.
on wood, Andy. Don't get this guy hurt. We don't have a left back.
Anyways, Nelson,
No,
continue.
I don't want any injuries, bro. And like, have we talked about the Dorgu injury, by the way? Because I'm so upset.
no.
I think we talked about it like 2 days ago. I know it feels like forever ago. It was like Patty Dorgu got hurt. I did mention it then. If you want to like bring it up again, sure. Like why not?
You know
Don't
who can
just
play left
rehash
back?
old wounds for me though.
Nelson,
No,
you know
no.
who
I'm
can play left back?
I'm gonna give. Who is it?
No, continue.
Hello.
Continue.
Yeah.
No, what I was gonna say is
Gallo, he said
the only concern I have with the Bruno thing is I don't want us to be like in the Atletico Madrid issue where they had Griezmann for a long time, and he was the best player, and then once his form dropped, you have a guy on massive wages, you keep him there, and now you can't move him. Like that's. By the way, we've been saying this for the longest time. We don't move players. If he doesn't want to stay here, Bruno, or doesn't believe in the project or whatever, I think we should move him on. Like,
Yeah, but we're on the
Yeah,
same
like-
page with that, Nelson.
Okay.
We're all on the same page with that. It's
Yeah.
his decision.
Yeah, it's his decision. But the other part too is like, look, let's just take a step back, go way back to get what fans always like remind us of is that all you think about are the good old times. The good old times, Fergie sold a lot of players in their prime. Guys
Yeah.
that were just like, why the heck is this guy leaving? And then we've managed to find ways to adapt, even though that they've gone and probably just continue to look, either the same, if not better in some cases. Right? When Van Nistelrooy left,
Yeah, but
Like, it wasn't
Jalen,
like
neither is we don't have the squad that Fergie had, and we don't have Fergie.
you get 100. Fine, let's even if you get 50 million for a player like Bruno, you can buy a I would not an ideal like identical replacement, but you could get 80 to 90% of the way there, and you're already spending 200 to 300 million on the rest of the midfield. So if there's a significant amount of, and we are going to spend 200, 300 million, like minimum 300 million this summer. I know that. Just because of
Let me be clear, guys. Let me be clear. Even 100 million for Bruno is not worth the money for me because of what he gives to this club, especially if we're going to play this counter-attacking style of football. For this system of football that we're playing under Carrick or Glasner or whoever else we appoint, Bruno is the type of player that unlocks it. We can go get Baleba, we can go get Anderson. They don't have those types of numbers in playing for very similar systems or teams. That's the problem we're going to face. So if Bruno wants to leave, he can leave.
Yeah, I
Darshan,
have
yeah,
a
go ahead.
different thing. Yeah, I don't think anyone is coming to bid for him in the summer.
I think Sadio will come back.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will come back because I think there are two things. His deal ends in June of 2027, and I believe we are not gonna renew that deal, or gonna renew past it. And second thing is, if we make the Champions League, as someone pointed out earlier in the chat, I don't think he's going to any other club.
To me,
Until
it does
and
not
then
matter that thing.
Yeah.
It's like for Nelson and I, it's we've seen the decisions that the club has made that have not sat well with Bruno. And if you're a player of his caliber, his quality, you could phone up Madrid tomorrow and be like, "Look, I want to come play for you. Can we make something happen?"
But he hasn't though, and he hasn't this window. After
He hasn't this
Yeah.
window. He doesn't need to this window. Or actually, we don't know
but
if
you're
he
saying-
if his agent has, and it's just starting to like they're trying to materialize things in the summer, which he's not going to leave in January. We know that for a fact.
And also
Why not?
let's
He came here in January.
let's
He came
also
here
be
in January,
clear.
he's not leaving in the middle of the season.
Most teams aren't moving in for like
Yeah.
a 300K a week player who United are going to also sell him for 70 million at 33.
Yeah.
Like not many teams are going to do this. And,
Isn't he 31?
Sorry, 31. 31.
Casemiro's
Turning 32 this year, right?
So
he's going
Maguire's
to
33.
Yeah.
So,
So like when we're looking at him, I think the only people who will bid for him, Dashan, will be Saudi. I think Saudi are the only guys who will put the money in because they know if he goes on, if he waits
How
till
are you
next
so
year.
sure about that?
Because they did. They've reached out twice.
They
Reached out
they
twice,
wanted-
by the way. They reached out in January, by the way. They did. They checked in again. They've tried twice now. They
And
know.
he
No,
rejected
but
them, right?
Nelson, here's the thing. There is
Yeah.
one other club that has the money and will probably go in for him. It's Juventus, right? Because they have their sort of club is going nowhere in a way, and I think they're playing Dusan Vlahovic 400K a week. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw this with Capology, and they're trying to offload Vlahovic. So they're going to get a lot of money freed up with that, and 60 million for European clubs is what the rumor is, right?
That probably
So I
means they're
think
paying him
they
like
could pay
200K,
something like
right? Because it's on Capology.
No,
it probably
but-
means they're playing 200K. So yeah.
no, but what is it? Swiss Rumble or
No,
Swedish
it's-
Rumble? They said that
verified
they're
it,
underreported, not necessarily
See, if they
overreported.
want
Yeah.
Bruno, then we'll ask them Yildiz and Thuram in return.
Yeah, I would take Thuram. I'm okay with Thuram coming.
Yeah.
I would do that deal, no problem. But I think if Juventus are in for him, fair. I think he would move.
Yeah.
Like it's an easy league for him too. He would smash that league.
He played there.
Yeah,
before at
Ballon d'Or,
Udinese.
15th, top 10 in the Ballon d'Or, guys.
100%.
MVP, right? So
Yeah. Sorry, Ray, you were saying something earlier. I cut you off like a minute or two ago. If you want to get back in on that.
I don't even remember anymore. I just think if Fournette, I think if we make Champions League, he stays. I will say that Shaylin, if we win the Premier League this season, he goes because what else does he have to win here?
Oh my God! Don't even. He's
He's
gonna
not going to
stay.
stay here if we win the Premier.
If we win the Premier
League, like,
League, it's because of him. It's because he's gonna pull a Brian Robson-esque performance
Guys,
in a
if
season.
we win the Premier League, I'm gonna rename the channel "Suck It with an Edge." Okay.
You heard it here. It's recorded. It's gonna be live. It's gonna be on YouTube. Yeah.
It's already live. I don't care. Clip it, post it.
I'm a fan, and I've been on this hill every single time because I feel like I've had to defend him all season because of the $100 million transfer that we lost apparently. So I don't really want to sell him, and if we make the Champions League this year, we're better with him than without him next year in the Champions League, because I think to replace him is two people versus the one.
Yeah.
I'd rather have both of those, especially if he's not playing deep anymore. He's going to play in the 10 with much more mobile people that we have this year in Cunha, Francesco, and Mbumo, and a much better Ahmad. He's all those runners for him. He can do a lot of the freaking rondos that he did against Arsenal and Manchester City, and still do the long ball like he did when he did it against City, when he did that freaking first touch cross that got to Dorgu and almost went in, that needed to save from Donnarumma. I mean, there's no player that can do both of those things. As well as Bruno. So why in the world do you get rid of him if you make Champions League?
So, guys, let me ask you a simple question. Does anyone here argue with the fact that Bruno's a 100 million player right now? Like, not about 5 years from now or anything like that. Not about on potential. Is he worth 100 million right now to us?
To us, yes.
I would say the only thing that
Yes,
really
but not
hampers
in
that
general.
is age. But then again, Kane got 100 million at 30
Mhm.
for Tottenham.
Wait, sorry. I lost my internet right after I asked that question. So sorry. Please repeat.
Guys, let's just
I
troll
said
him.
for us, he's
No,
100
we don't
million,
believe it.
but we don't believe anything you say, Andy. Is what
Yeah.
we were saying. We don't think you. We think that all the
Oh, okay,
actual
got
food you're
it.
eating
Okay.
is
Well, so
making
for the
you
other
money.
viewers, the other viewers that are watching, if he's 100 million to us, there's credible research done by lots of transfer experts that say most transfers have a success rate of less than 50%. It's about 48% is the success rate. So if you want to replace Bruno, you need to realistically spend 200 million. to replace in that specific position, and we're not going to do that. So I agree with what Ray's saying, that we have somebody who already works for us, and we're trying to get rid of him and trusting Ineos to get 2 transfers right, or just 1 transfer bang on to replace it. And we're not going to spend 100 million on a creator.
But I don't think
right,
I
it's
don't
gonna
think
be in
we're
other
gonna
places.
replace him.
I don't think
We're
we're
gonna
replacing
spread it
that
around.
We're
position.
not
I think that
replacing one for
position is
one.
gone.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a central midfielder.
Yeah,
I don't think we're going to go for a central attacking midfielder.
Look, the way we
have
No, but
to-
even his attributes throughout the team, like still, it's the same concept.
Andy, we saw
Right, like, you still
PSG
need to
lose
invest.
Mbappe, and they
and they
got
won
better.
Champions League. Yeah,
Like they got better after losing Mbappe. You can lose.
No,
we
but
can
they got
become a lot
Dembele,
more-
who's a similar player, right? Dembele is a very similar profile player.
not when
It's
they
not-
got
not
him.
scoring.
They never
No.
didn't think he was. Yeah.
not in terms of scoring.
I mean,
not in
he's
terms of
he's
how
won
they're playing.
he's won the Ballon d'Or, and
Yeah, he won the
Mbappe doesn't
Ballon
have
d'Or
one. So.
before Mbappe did, but like when Ousmane Dembele goes, I was gonna say Moussa Dembele. When Ousmane Dembele goes to PSG after Mbappe, people aren't thinking that he's gonna come in and replace Mbappe as a like
Yeah.
for like, and they were just like, dude, this guy. Like, in fact, when I saw him play, I was like, what? This is the same Dembele that played for Barcelona when like,
And playing
sat
as
on
a
the injury
striker.
table for like,
Yeah, but
yeah.
He did
give
always
me a
light it up
second
in
though. They
Barca.
did get
Mm.
they did get Quaradona on the left in the January window.
Remember,
And-
they bought Barcola first,
Yeah.
and then Barcola
Yeah.
didn't. They thought Barcola wasn't working out. Then they brought in Kvara. Yeah.
So
It was
okay,
60.
good question. How much did they spend on Barcola?
I
50,
don't
60
remember.
something?
Yeah, 50,
right?
I think. Yeah.
50 maybe, and they
Mhm.
spent 50 on Dembele, if memory serves, from Barcelona.
50. yeah.
And they spent 80 or 85 on Quaradona.
60.
So that's already
60.
180 million.
It was 60.
No, it was more like 80. It was more like 80, bro.
I remember because I was getting pissed. It was 60. It was actually really low. It was shockingly low.
Can someone check that, because I don't have
I remember
the
it wasn't that
Barcelona
high.
to PSG for Dembele was 50 million.
No, Kvara.
no Kvaratskhelia.
That
also say,
was
though,
70 million.
Mbappe was
70,
a
yeah.
waste.
Yeah.
It was shocking.
70 million. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 170 million. It's 170 million to essentially replace Mbappe in the let's say aggregate, right? And PSG could do what Nelson just said, which is initially go for Barcola, realize it's not enough, and then correct their mistakes by getting 2 other players in. Are we going to
Right,
be
but-
able to do that? Is the question.
But Andy, it's replacing him in the aggregate in one metric. Those 3 players also add quite a bit in other places.
Yeah.
And it's not like in those 2, specifically Dembele and Kvara, they play. It's like, yeah, maybe Barcola comes on as a substitute or something like that, but
Mhm.
it's not like the other 2 suddenly don't play or something. And
And
again, like, I
one
think
more
the
thing,
way
right?
we play with Ineos, with the way we play with Michael Carrick right now is a bit of a red herring of what it is that we want to see or what the club wants to see the play to be developed in. And I don't necessarily see like the classic number 10 role inside
I
of
think
pro football is continuing. Like
Mhm.
I see a lot of like, 2 8s.
No, that's
like,
fair.
in the midfield.
My only point is, Shaylin, that we already need to spend the money on the midfield that they would even with Bruno here. Right? We're going to sign the same players as we sell Bruno, or we don't. Like at best, we get a delta of +1 with Bruno leaving. Right? If we sell Bruno, we buy 1 player to, let's say, replace him in the aggregate. We're still going to go for Anderson and Baleba, if not both of them.
Yeah.
Right? Even with Bruno here. So I'm not really seeing the parallels with PSG the same way. That's the only point I'm trying to make.
Can
And
I ask
I'm
a
going to say
question?
one, and I got to add
Yeah.
this thing about, I don't like this comparison of Mbappe and Bruno being, they got better, because Mbappe was a weight on PSG for 3 years saying that he was going to leave. And he doesn't, when he's asked from his managers to do something, it's very pulling teeth. I don't think anyone will say that Bruno's pulling teeth for the manager. Bruno does everything the managers ask of him. Play right wing, play left wing, play front, play 10, play 8. He'll play wherever he's asked to. That's a completely different profile of player too. So I don't like that.
No, I'm talking about his output. Because that's
it's not just his output though. It's also his contribution.
no, it is its output. It is its output, because if you actually assess Bruno, it's genuinely his output that we're talking about. Like when we're talking about, here's my thing about Bruno. I'm not denigrating him by saying he's a bad player. When we lose him, we will drop. But the way we adjust how we have to play differently from how other teams play. All the top teams play with 2 8s and a 6. We're one of the few guys who still play with 2 6s and a 10. It's so much easier for us to adjust if he's gone. But that means
But you're playing the 10 because he's the best 10 in the freaking league.
Yeah, but
and then when we had the other guy,
season,
he wanted to play him as an 8.
Shaylin, I had a question for Ray and Andy. If we bring in Anderson and Baleba, where are we? We're still around 4th. Are we not?
No, we're higher than 4th.
Now.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you,
yeah, 100%.
So you think bringing in 2 people and keeping Bruno, we're going what? 3rd?
Well, so hold on one second. There's a lot of caveats here, right? And so first of all, the league next year is going to look very different. We could have the top teams being much better and the middle to bottom teams being much worse, which means the competition at the very top is much higher. So I don't want to put this on a position thing. I'm just going to say based on how good we look. You know what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense? Like, we may be 6th in the league next year, but we still playing better football and we have better competition. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm trying to get at. So do we significantly improve with those 2 midfielders in the team with Bruno in front of them? 100%. 100%. Because right now, dude, how many games have we had where Casemiro doesn't have the legs to go 2 yards further than he already is, and because of that, he misses out on a tackle.
Right, I get that, but like this season, like I'm talking about this season, even when Bruno has drifted away in games because we decided to go get other players as difference makers, we still look better. We still get results because I'm being honest. Like if it was a Rashford, Garnacho, and Højlund up top, we lose. We drew, and we felt like they were losses because we're like, oh, we could have won that game. And these are games that I felt like Bruno just wasn't existent in, or he didn't necessarily have as large of an impact.
On Nelson's point, right? Like I agree in one sense what he's saying that the output, right, Nelson, that is what you're considering. The output of like in terms of goals and assists, right?
Yeah.
I think this season Cunha has been kind of underwhelming. Otherwise, if I consider the last season, right, 24-25, both Cunha and Mbeumo had 20 plus goals and assists.
Yep.
And even previous to that, I think Cunha had, I think 15 plus, and even Mbeumo had about 10 to 15.
Yeah, but Darshan, those were for teams where they were the best player, and everything went through them, right? So when you come to a team like United, you have
to go through them. That's what we're saying.
To step up. We need them to step up.
But like that's what we mean by the.
It's not.
Needs the league in assists. He's trying to get those players to be good.
But I
understand this.
And those guys have missed so many chances that have nothing
really
to do with
simple,
Bruno.
Right? It's when so first off this. All right, Brentford don't have Mbeumo anymore. I mean, do they look a better team, or do they look the same?
Yeah.
I think they look the same. To be honest,
but that has so many other factors, Shaylin. Come on, you can't say.
So no,
hold on. Come on, that's too simple an argument to make.
Yeah, no, it is no, Andy, it is the argument. The argument is you lose. Yeah, you guys are overcomplicating. They lost. Look at this. You're talking about Eze left Crystal Palace. They got better. Mbeumo left Brentford and Wissa. Both of them left. The 2 top strikers left one summer, and they're literally at the same level. Brighton keep losing players. They maintain because what they do is they spread it through the aggregate. You don't replace. Here's where you guys, I think maybe we're losing the argument here. When Bruno leaves, we will lose a lot, but what we will gain is based off of the aggregate. If you bring in, say, a Thuram or a Starch, you gain more defensive awareness. You gain so much more, maybe more control, more possession. You can play, I hate using this word, we play more modern, like how all the other teams play. And then from there, you see where you gain. But what Darshan just said, you kind of like brushed it aside. We brought people with almost 55 GA in terms of Mbeumo, Cunha, and Šeško. That was 55. The guys we had before were like 30 in our attack. So, and let's be clear, let's be honest. Mboum was playing well. Sheshko was playing well until he got benched.
Nelson. One quick thing.
Yeah.
One quick thing on the stats, right?
Okay.
All of those players massively overperformed their XG last year. Had they
100%.
overperformed their XG in the same way this year, Bruno already has 15 assists. Right? That's the point I'm trying to make. You guys are talking as if Bruno's getting in the way. That is kind of the argument you're making. You're saying Bruno is taking the goals and assists away from these guys, whereas my point is Bruno amplifies them. Bruno's making them better. And we'll see this next year because I think Roberto had asked this question. If we sell Bruno, Maguire, and Casemiro, what happens? I actually think if Carrick is here next year, we're talking about get him out. We're asking for Carrick to be sacked this time next year without Bruno. I'm just telling you, it's going to happen because we're talking about goals and assists. How many statistical categories is Bruno first in? Chances created, passes into the final third, everything, all of those things, right? These are not things that Mbeumo and Cunha were first in last year.
We play a lot through him as well.
Yeah, like the ball has
he's the
to
best player.
No, we do for a good reason. For good reason.
I'm not saying that.
You're talking as if we're playing through Dallo or something, bro.
There's a bit of like bias here, guys. Like, of course, if you're gonna play through him, and the guy's literal thing is like, I'm just gonna try everything. Then yes, he's gonna get a lot of chances. I mean, like think of the quality of chances that he's got.
Bro, that's so disrespectful of Bruno, though. Come on, man. That's so disrespectful of Bruno. As if he's just doing.
I'm just saying, it's like if he's getting the ball a lot and he's able to like make those chances, then yeah, he's able to
hold on, Shayla.
But
you said he's trying whatever he wants. Of course, he's gonna get some stuff. Like that's disrespectful, bro.
But here's the thing. But if you look at who he was playing again, like with before, was Rashford would like get the ball just from a pass from Bruno and just be like, you know what, I'm 40 yards out. This is within my goal scoring range and pop a shot. And then he also had chances off of that too. A chance is literally just a pass that leads to a shot. That's what it is. And like
why are other players not consistently outperforming him in that if it's so easy?
You know, I mean, we also take a lot of like shots. Like we've taken a lot of shots this season.
Bro, are you seriously gonna JJ Bull me right now?
I'm not.
Are you gonna JJ Bull me right now?
What I'm just saying is like we are. We not. It's still a fact, right? And
we have been taking a lot of shots, but we're also high on XG, which means we're not just shooting from 40 yards out.
I get it. I get
right?
it. But
Can I answer Andy's point? Do you know why other teams don't have a Bruno? Because they create from multiple different players. And
Ray, one
second. Here's the thing. Do you remember when Ronaldo came in and how before Ronaldo joined, we used to create to multiple players and he walked in and we funneled everything to one guy. We kept funneling constantly. And that's how I see how we attack with Bruno. And it is because Bruno is amazing. That's
guys, that's fair.
I'm not disagreeing.
No.
I'm saying he's amazing.
I'm just saying I've got 1% battery left and I might drop at any point. No, this is a good discussion. I hope we haven't upset Shaylin. I'll just give my thoughts for the Fulham game. I think it's gonna be a 1-1 draw. And I will probably check back into the stream to what your guys' predictions are, but I need to go charge my phone. But listen, anyways, it's clear where I stand. I guess Ray's also on that side. Roberto's trying to be Switzerland in this war right now, trying to be balanced, not saying much. So we can all store our money with Roberto. Whoever wins, go store your money with Roberto, right? Yeah. But anyways, guys, we'll what's it called? You guys wrap up the stream, give your predictions, please, and I will go charge my phone. But great discussion. And Shaylin, thank you for entertaining our Bruno debate and going so much over that we normally do. But we'll see you guys later, man. I'll see you. There we go.
No one tell me I don't like this player. I've had his jersey since he's been like coming to the club. But we just need to move forward. That's all. I just want progress.
No, I agree with you. Listen, I've had this debate with the Three Devils as well, and it's something that we'll talk about even after he leaves, because then people will come in and be like, "Oh, if we had Bruno today, we win that game." You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to be there either. I don't want to be that guy, but I think we can all agree if Bruno wants to stay. Oh, great.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay, Ray. Prediction from you. I'll come to you first.
3-1, 2 goals or assists for Bruno. and then we'll have this debate next week again.
I mean, I got a DM from Urmik saying, or not a DM, she tagged me in Discord saying, we're not going to have this conversation, or she won't watch if we continue having this conversation. So, yeah. Roberto.
I'm going to go 2-0. I think we'll get another clean sheet. I think we're going to build on the momentum we've kind of seen. Yeah, it's going to be a good game.
Darshan, what do you
I say
think?
2-0 and Bruno scores both the goals.
Nelson?
It's a game I fear the most. 2-1, but my gut feeling says this is probably going to be a draw.
Okay, I'm going to say we're going to win 7-0. Money Mace hat trick, Bruno hat trick. And then, the last goal is probably coming from, I don't know, Mbumo, because why not? Let's do it. We're Carrick will dismantle this team, boys. We will find a way to
have some belief, guys. Like,
exactly.
I don't
Come
know.
on,
Yeah,
man.
why should we like?
This much
We
hype
live in
around
fear,
Bruno.
yeah.
That guy's getting like 3 goals and 3 assists. We're gonna get 6 goals at least. We're gonna find a way. Don't
We
worry.
have beaten the top 2 teams in the last 2 games. We can go into the next game with some kind of confidence or belief.
Yes. Yeah. No, but predicting a win, realistically, I think it's probably a 2-1. Yeah, I think it'll be 2-1. I agree
I
with
think
you
this
on
is
that.
the win. I think Tottenham the following week is the trap game.
Yeah, because they're
Yeah,
gonna get
I-
new manager bounce,
because-
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're either going to get a new manager bounce, or people will say how crap they are. They're in a relegation battle, and then something crappy happens to us that game.
I fear
I don't.
the
I'm
West
not. I
Ham
don't
game.
think it's this week. I'm just feeling this week. I feel it.
Yeah, I feel
Even
this
against-
week as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
go
with
ahead.
Amarin, it was a close game, and freaking, that was 2 crossbars. That was 2
Yeah.
posts on that game.
All right. Well, boys, thank you so much for joining. What a fun debate. Whoever watches the live or stream afterwards, get in the comments. Let me know what it is you think. We could be completely wrong. That's totally fine. But once again, thank you guys for joining me.